Hey guys, Aardvark here, and today I've got my Assassin's Creed 3 review for you guys. Unfortunately, I don't have any real gameplay of me playing through any of the missions or cutscenes or anything like that. This is just gameplay of me screwing around after I've completed the game. But, hopefully my words of encouragement or disappointment will be enough. So let's dive right in here. Okay, so the main thing that I was really excited about in ACIII was the new setting. Being set in a location outside of Europe that felt new and exciting was what drew me into the game. If it were another AC game in Europe and with Ezio as the main character, I would have stayed away. But I was really excited for the new setting. But the question is, did the new setting really matter? Well, in some regards, yes. I did feel more engaged playing in a new environment and as a new character. The frontier was full of adventure and was a great place to explore. And much like in Skyrim, I found myself venturing across the frontier to certain locations rather than fast traveling, simply to see what I could find and to enjoy the breathtaking nature. However, the setting does not make or break the game. In ACIII, I was hoping for and looking forward to new gameplay aspects and concepts rather than simple things that build on to the already overplayed gameplay. These subtle additions to the game include things like the ability to run through open windows when free running, jumping over objects rather than having to jump on them and jump off of them, and the rope dart, which made for some epic kills out on the frontier. All these things are cool, but these small additions were not enough to impress me. The only new gameplay aspect was the naval combat. That was interesting enough to be considered a great addition to the franchise, but to me, it isn't enough to keep this game on its feet. For one thing, it was too simple a concept to grasp to be really that engaging. This might be a personal experience of mine, but I was able to learn how to play in these naval combat scenarios rather easily, and then after that, it wasn't very challenging or as engaging as I would have liked. All that said, I did enjoy the addition of naval combat, but it seemed to be the one and only thing Ubisoft brought to the table. There weren't any new techniques we would have to master in order to get through the game, no new concepts to grasp that would change the way we play the game. In other words, the gameplay was this game's major weakness, and is something I fear in AC4 now that it seems Ubisoft is going in the direction of the COD franchise. The level design wasn't much better than the lack of new gameplay elements. This may in fact have to do with that lack of new things to understand or learn to do, though. The levels and missions were all simply reruns of AC missions from previous games. While they were challenging enough, it was all the same stuff that we would expect from an AC title. Chase this guy, kill this guy, take out that group of people, follow this guy, protect your partner. All things we have done before countless times in every previous AC game. The way I see it, this and new gameplay go hand in hand. Had there been extremely deep new gameplay aspects, the levels could have been much more creative and would have been much more engaging and interesting. Now on to my favorite part of any game, the story and characters. If you have played past Assassin's Creed games, you know that the games really have two different stories to tell. One is the continuous story of Desmond and the modern-day assassins outside of the Animus. Then there's the story of whatever past assassin Desmond is going through the memories of. In this case, that is Connor's story. I will say that the ending to Connor's story was much more satisfying than Desmond's. Though not much ever really happens outside of the Animus, Desmond's parts in the games are often the most important to the story and can be interesting. This time around, Desmond seemed a lot more active outside of the Animus, and it really felt like we finally got to see the true assassin in Desmond. However, the end to Desmond's story seemed less dramatized than it should have been. It seemed like it ended too subtly and kind of just happened, which is puzzling to say the least, since the ending to Desmond's story was rather significant to the storyline. As for Connor, well, he wasn't the most enjoyable assassin that we've played so far. I liked his background and his interesting relationships he had with the secondary characters in the game. However, his actions, motivations, and decisions seemed more like that of a Hollywood underdog hero and genuine good guy kind of character, rather than that of the intimidating badass assassin that he is. It really seemed like he at times was struggling with life and got out of it due to luck. I think that is the wrong direction. I think Connor would have been a much greater character if instead he overcame his obstacles despite a seemingly worthless struggle. After all, there is nothing more badass than a guy who is about to lose but doesn't give a fuck and fights back and wins. This would have made his character much more interesting. This doesn't all mean that Connor is necessarily a bad character, though. He had his strengths and his weaknesses. Overall, I think the game was a bit disappointing, but not too much so that it isn't worth your time at all. Do I regret paying $60 for the game? A little. I am glad to have it on my shelf, but I wish I had paid less for it. When it comes to numbers, I give the game a 7.5 out of 10. So if you have 30 bucks to spare and don't have anything else to save up for, go for it. If you find it for more than 40 bucks, forget it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and if you want to see all my game reviews in video form, plus Halo 4 map reviews, gameplay commentaries, and Let's Plays for multiple games, game nights, and Kingdom of Hell Pro League official videos. Thanks. Aardvark out.